They don't see that it was clearly listed on the website. They think it's rude to make them wait in line. They can't believe you won't be open this Sunday. They think you're the crazy one. They're not normal customers, oh no. They are the Patronarchy.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Patronarchy. We're open for business and ready to talk about the customers who didn't want good service, they wanted good servitude. I'm your host, Vincent. Thank you for clicking on the video. Really appreciate it. And today I am joined by a real life rock star, somebody I've known since college. Don't laugh, you're a rock star. Don't play that humble game with me. Ladies and gentlemen, the lead singer of Reign of Z, Zosia. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, very well. Yeah. So
It's so nice to talk to you.
I know. That's also like a second factor that's become of this show, I guess, is like me catching up with people that I haven't seen since before the pandemic. So that's been a nice little advantage of the show. But yeah, no. Thank you for doing it, because I know you're getting ready. You got your tour coming up. You got tour coming up, so it's got to be very exciting. You know, I mean, I know I have other musician friends, and I have stand-up comedian friends, and I know being off the road has been tough for a lot of people. But I'm gonna stop talking about you. Tell the people about yourself, because I feel like I'm just gonna talk too much for you there.
No, I love it. Well, like you said, I'm Zosia West. I'm the front woman of Reign of Z, and we are a hard rock metal band based out of a van down by the river. But before the pandemic, Vince and I, like he said, we had gone to college together, which was an awesome experience, and he's a super talented comedian. So I'm very happy to, be here, and thank you for thinking of me.
Oh, hey, no problem. Thank you once again for doing it, because I know you're probably busy prepping for the tour and whatnot. So I mean, I can't imagine all the things you mean scheduling and your lineup and everything. But yeah, thank you again for joining us here. You look great, by the way.
Thank you. So do you. And I got to meet your cat before, which was awesome. And is your lady at work?
Yes, she is at she's at work right now. I'll be joining her later after work. We try to spend as much time together, because I mean, we live we live a bit of a drive apart from each other right now, but I'm moving in with her in a couple months. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a good time. Yeah. And she will be, for anyone who's wondering, unless something happens, my girlfriend will be in an episode in the future, because she's definitely got some customer service stories of her own to tell. But that is down the road, and we are here right now. So Zosia, tell the people of your encounters with the Patronarchy.
Oh, geez. Okay. So I'll start with the most recent, and then I'll, digress a little bit further back. So before the pandemic, my side hustle was a medical esthetician. And for people who don't know what that is, basically I'm 2 to 3 steps down from like a dermatologist or a nurse practitioner, basically like a skincare therapist.
All right.
So people who need laser hair removal, chemical peels, microdermabrasion, photofacials, fractional laser, like basically I was your girl. So I worked in an office, sometimes remotely by myself, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, because I have other stories that probably aren't appropriate for this podcast, but I definitely have stories. I never liked being alone, but I met a woman. She was from another country, and she wanted laser hair removal, and I was going to be servicing her. And initially we got off on the right foot, I thought. And then I realized the type of customer that she was going to be, where
There we go.
She was never going to be satisfied, no matter what I did. I could have given her like plasma, my car. There was going to be nothing that made this woman happy. And I don't know the pivotal moment of her and I working together, because she would just come in decked out to the nines, like designer bag. Everybody knows the type, hair done, would circle places on her body that I supposedly missed. Now, just to educate the audience, if you're working with a laser tech for laser hair removal, it's not a permanent fix. I always tell people nobody can control your genetics, the medications that you're on, and most importantly, age and hormones. So this is something I always explain, because there's a lot of swindlers out there that promise you the moon. I do not do that. I'm fully transparent with people.
Awesome.
And well, I mean, and if that upsets people, I would rather not take the $1,000. I mean, keep your money and go give that headache to somebody else. So as we continued working, she got more and more condescending with me. Now, I'm a very patient individual, but as time progressed, I got more and more frustrated, which caused me to get snippy. What broke the camel's back was the last session that she came in, and I just was quiet. I didn't even ask how she was. I just hit that point because every time she came in, she was so rude to me. She never tipped me. By the way, anybody who's listening, tip your medical estheticians, please. That's how a lot of times that we make our money. So just a little plug for anybody out there.
I feel you. I was a Lyft driver for a while, and Lyft was doing tips before Uber was doing it, and for a while I was wondering, is it just me? Because people would not leave tips. Many of my customers I would pick up and not leave tips, and then finally I met another Lyft driver who had been doing it longer, and they're like, yeah, no, it's a problem. Everybody in this town's like bad at it. It sucks. But it is. Yeah, always if you're in a business and you know that business where the employees can accept tips, please tip.
Do it.
We're not asking for we're not asking for a briefcase full of 20s or nothing. Just throw a couple bucks down. That's all it is, people. But anyway, back to your story.
No, it's fine. It's a good plug. So basically, towards the end, she looked at me, and mind you, I have a laser near her lady parts, and this is very pivotal to the story.
Okay.
So,
yes.
So she looked at me and she goes, "It's very difficult for me to comprehend that you have a job like this when it looks like you got tattoos out of prison."
What? Well, excuse, what the fuck? What?
And I looked at her, and I just would like the audience to know I'm always very cool, calm, and collected. And I looked at her and I said, "You can get the fuck off my table. We are done here." And I stormed out of the office. I went to my manager and I looked at her directly in the eyes. I said, "If you have to fire me because of the language that I used, so be it." I said, "I will not be disrespected like that."
Wow.
And my boss finished her appointment. I was shaking. I wanted to go basically like slash this lady's tires. But the good news is they let me keep my job. They totally understood, because out of the 4 years of me being there, I was always very kind. So this lady just had a chip on her shoulder, and each time it was something negative or insulting. And obviously something's going on within her, which I always try to see both sides of the coin, but there's just no excuse to insult anybody.
No, hell no. That's old negative stereotype about tattoos and all that stuff. Obviously, I mean, I don't have any tattoos, but you are, I've got plenty of friends like you who have tattoos, and it's just a form of expression.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, you also got to respect the tattoo artists, because, it's not, I've seen pictures online of bad tattoos, so, it's something you got to show respect for. And it doesn't mean like, I just don't, it's a generational thing. Like, I mean, I kind of get it and stuff like that for like older generations. But for me, it's just, because I had one of my former jobs, they didn't mind if you had tattoos, but you had to cover up. And
Oh
that,
God.
yeah, they had like, I had some of my coworkers had to wear long sleeves, but if they didn't have a long sleeve, I had one coworker had to put this big like giant band-aid on to cover up his tattoo. But eventually, even that place, I've been back to there since I moved on to a different job. And now the employees there are allowed to display their tattoos. I don't know if they have some restrictions, like, oh, you can, unless your tattoo is this or whatever. But people are starting to come around to it more and more. I mean, I've been to like, fast food places, nicer restaurants, the librarians, I've seen
Yeah.
them with like visible tattoos, and it's just, so it's getting better out there. But then you have those people like like this client who's just like a holdout of that old way of thinking that tattoo means this. I'm like, no, tattoo means what it means to that individual. It changes. I I mean, just just these old ideas of tattoos. I mean,
Well,
old
and
shit.
I always say, because when somebody owns a company, they're allowed to hire whomever they choose. If that's the image that you don't want, and I'm always very fully transparent. I'm like, listen, you don't want to hire me because there's obviously nothing that I can do. They're kind of there. But I think with her, she was just kind of finding anything she could to just pick on me, because our age difference wasn't, I mean, she was probably about 10 to 15 years older. So she was probably like in maybe like her early 40s, maybe late 40s. So she was probably enough around of it, like, to know. But
Yeah,
I
okay.
just think she was just looking for a fight,
Okay, she didn't have anything solid on you, so she went for the easy route. Okay, I see what you're saying, but
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, she was already like insulting you with like saying like you were screwing up her laser stuff,
Right.
and someone who has performed that stuff. Just out of curiosity, when people complain about that, do you think when people think, oh, laser corrective, whatever it is, like you were removing hair for her, do you think people have this like sci-fi notion of how lasers in the real world work, or am I just like adding something that isn't there? Because I don't think people really understand what a laser is. It's just a concentrated beam of light that's hot. That's what it is, and I think people have this sci-fi notion or whatever. I mean, what do you think?
No, I think you put it in definitely like a cooler, like funnier way. But I think the disservice to our industry is, I think with any industry, is they meet people who promise them the moon, and it's just not the situation. Or, Google's a blessing and a curse. And they'll come in and say, oh, well, so and so from blah, 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 her hair never came back. And then I always try to catch them on the other side and be like, okay, well, how old is she? How long has she been getting laser hair removal? What machine did they use? How many sessions? And then they just look at me with, pardon my French, but like their dick in their hand, because they don't know how to respond. And I think if you're going to go into a battle like this, you need to be educated. And it just makes things harder because of TV shows and celebrities and, friends, feeding the narrative. Even like what we witnessed, like in the election, or like even with the COVID-19 virus, like not getting into politics or like,
right.
steering the narrative somewhere else, but just look how much convoluted stuff gets on the internet.
Oh, totally, yeah. It's got all the information in the world, but there's a problem of wait, who's giving this information? And even if the information is as factually accurate and unbiased as it could be, how are we processing that information? It's so much stuff. And as you pointed out, it's just like, okay, how old were they? What kind of laser were they using? Blah, blah, all these factors. And people just think, oh, laser. Like, no, it's laser with all these, factors around it. So yeah.
And people don't, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
no, go ahead. No.
I was just gonna say, and people don't think in mind, like, I know you and I had science together, but there's ethnicities that play a part, and age factors, and did you just have a baby? Do you have like a pre-existing, like, do you have like PCOS? Like, there's so much that goes into it that people don't even think of. And I kind of freak them out because I'll do a consult with them and I'll be like, oh, do you have PCOS? Or, oh, are you on biotin? How did you know? And I'm like, well, it's my job to know.
You got the training. There's, you probably could have pulled some kind of psychic trick on them. It's just like, and then
Oh, I do mess with them.
You
I probably shouldn't say that, but like if they're nasty, I will totally fuck with them just because it's like you're already coming in and being a jerk. So I'm gonna roll with it.
No. That's fine. Go ahead and mess with them. I've said, there's that old saying that the customer is always right. No, they're not, but I don't mind letting them think they're right or something. If I, Oh man. But anyway, so all right, that first story of Laser Lucy there, I don't know, but damn, some people and just and that's something that's going to be I feel like is more and more a part of as the show goes on. It's the ignorance of people. It's the combination of ignorance and unfounded expectations about customer service. And I said it the last couple episodes, and I say it again. It's not that employees or companies never mess up. Sometimes you have legitimate complaints about the service you received, but
I've messed up.
Yeah, but if that idea of good service isn't controlled with proper expectations and patience, because sometimes I've been out to places and I can tell, oh, it's packed in here. They're super busy, and that's why it's taking so long for me to get my mozzarella sticks. I get that, but all right. Well, anyway, Zosia, are you ready for your next story?
I am.
All right, let's talk. What happened? What's going on?
So during COVID, obviously, I just want to preface, like, I was on unemployment and I hated it. And I was desperately trying to get a job, but unfortunately with what I do, I work with faces. So it's a little difficult to get a job working with faces when you can't work with faces. So I went on an interview. This is actually an interview story.
Okay.
I met with the two owners in Fox Chapel. Mind you, when I dress up for interviews, I'm pretty demure. I'll wear like classic black dress or just something a little bit more conservative.
Oh, I got you.
Met with them, really impressed them. They were saying like how knowledgeable I was, yada, yada, yada. Now, mind you, at the time, I don't know if the audience can see it, but I have like gears and skeletons and, horror stuff tattooed on me. So the guy called me. He's like, we love you. We want you to come aboard. And there's a reason why I'm building this visual. I had black lipstick on, like with muted eyes. It was all very coordinated.
Yeah.
And he said, we want to offer you the job, but here's the stipulation. I said, sure, what's up? He's like, your hair. I'm like, okay, what about my hair? And he was like, we need you to dye it a more natural color. Here's what's going on in my brain.
Okay.
I literally have skulls and all kinds of crazy shit tattooed. Oh, but we're gonna go for the hair. Okay. So I decided to humor him and go with him on this journey.
Okay.
So me being me and being trying to get witty over the years, I said, so what do you deem as a natural hair color? Well, I don't know. Okay. Well, I told him, I said, I don't want to wreck my hair for a job. I said, so I need you to kind of guide me as to what you're searching for. And he's like, well, I don't know, just something natural. I said, yes, but you're not telling me what that looks like for you. So I'm kind of struggling here.
Brunette, blonde, redhead. What are we looking at? Like,
well, my hair, the ends of my hair at the time were fire engine red. So technically it was a natural color. And I told him, I said, me being a smart ass, I was like, well, technically all hair colors are something you can find in nature. So you can, if you could just kind of help me out. And he said, so then the truth comes out, because this was a job. And if you're from the PA area, Fox Chapel, he said, well, I don't think our demographic would resound well with the color hair that you currently have. And I'm thinking, what? Like, did we meet? And I told him, I said, I just want to retract for a second and ask you, you were fine with my makeup and my aesthetic? He goes, yes. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to think about this. And I told him, I said, I just want to let you know that my aunt lives in Fox Chapel. I run with that crowd sometimes because I'll work out with a lot of women from Fox Chapel. They all love me.
Okay, great.
And I said, I think having a demographic, something different, might be positive for your company. Because here's what happens, Vince. This is always the situation when I work in these like ritzy, snobby areas.
Yeah.
They love me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for those anyone who's watching and don't know, Fox Chapel is a wealthier area in the wealthier area of the Pittsburgh regions. If in the last seriously, like Bill Cowher, former coach of the Steelers, had a house in the Fox Chapel area, and that guy had a hell of a career, and he's still doing well for himself as a commentator. But yeah, so it has a lot of wealthy people, and definitely a lot of older wealthy people who, once again, have this idea of what certain appearances may say. But anyway, just to give everyone an idea, in case you don't know what the Fox Chapel area is like, I've lived near Fox Chapel and I've have multiple jobs in the Fox Chapel area, so I know what these people can be like.
So, but what's always usually really funny is like when I go to work out with them and they show up in their Porsches and Lexus, they love the fact that I'm very individualistic, because it's like deep down that's kind of something they want, and it's kind of like a novelty. And I was trying to explain that to him. I said, listen, I can tell you probably half the people that are going to walk through your door I'm going to know, and I already know, and they have no issue with me. And this guy just did not want to hear it. So I told him, I said, well, if you can let me know, like with your partner, what that looks like for you, touch base with me. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't even want to like fuck with these people, because it's just so most of my stuff, unfortunately, has been appearance based. And for anybody who's watching it, I understand like the counter argument is it's my choice, and this and that and blah, blah. And I totally understand that. But, I just think it's like 2021. And as long as you're professional and you don't have like a tattoo on you that says like eat shit, or something like truly offensive. I think it's okay to allow people to, be who they want to be or do what they want to do. And that's like my little soapbox. So that's kind of I have so many more stories, but those are the two major ones that stick out.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, definitely got some. Well, those are definitely. I mean, the first one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm always a nerdy guy, but I just like how there was a laser in the first story. But
science, and you were so good in science, so
back me and Zosia met in college. We had a few classes together. One of them was our science class, which
he did my homework.
I did your homework, and I did other women's homework too.
Kate's homework. He was such a sweet, like he's such a doll, because I was a musical theater major and dance major, and I just was like slammed all the time and exhausted. So he was a gem. But go on.
Yeah. No, I remember that class. I remember it was like, oh God, it was like you, me,
Kat, or
Kate, yeah, who's gotten married since then, so she's doing well for herself. Who was it? Mimi, Mimi, and then my other friend Allie, she was in it too. And I remember that class because I remember I couldn't tell whether our teacher was inexperienced or not, but I remember that the first test we had, nobody did well. I'm no genius. Like when it comes to basic science, I'm fine. But I remember nobody did. Like I remember that first class. I think I got like a C minus, or like I think maybe even I got a D on that. And I've never been a straight A student, but I'm usually like C plus to getting some A's here and there. But I remember that, and then I remember the next class, like the next quiz or test we had, like I studied harder and I got an A. And like we were all sitting next to each other, we were all hanging out. Like that was like we had the long tables. We didn't have individual desks. So it's like wherever you sat was the table at that, they just basically became your friends, and we were all sitting. And I remember, our teacher came over like, "Good work, Vince. You really improved." And I was like, "What?" Because I was expecting to do bad again. I don't know why, but like I was expecting to do bad again. And then all you guys were like, "Oh wow!" You all came in on me like, "Look at that!" Like
We're like vultures. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
No, but you were so kind and like willing to help, because like I went to tutoring and I tried to understand this teacher, and it just, the languages was just not computing. And it's ironic because for what I do, it's so science based, and I graduated top of my class and I graduated early. So I'm like, okay, well clearly I'm not completely like, have a deficit in science. Clearly I can do it.
No. Yeah, no. I like, this is something I've like to say a bunch of times, like some things just make more sense than others to other people. Like for instance, like I like, this is like 15 years ago now, but I remember in one class studying like the fission inside of the sun, and that made more sense to me than biology. Biology always confused the crap out of me. But yeah, so I just, different people, different, all that
For
stuff.
sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, Zosia, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we sign off?
I would just say to the people, because of COVID, just please, please, please be kind to people, especially your service industry people. They're dealing with a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
So just please be kind to them, and their lives are brutal to begin with, just all the crap that they have to deal with. And just please, like, even over tip them if you have the extra capital. Like I've been trying to tip like 25% or 30%. So just, please do that for people, just kind of pay it forward.
Good words, good words. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out Zosia and her band, Reign of Z, I will leave some links down in the description for you to check out their music and find out when their tour dates are coming up. And I can already hear Milo crying at my door. So I can.
Oh, okay. Go get Milo.
I'll go take care of Milo. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, leave some comments down there in the comment section. What did you think of Zosia's stories? Do you have some relatable stories to hers? Let us know down there. And if you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up with the like. The likes really help with the videos. And if you want to catch more videos in the future, of course, click the subscribe button. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Patronarchy. Take it easy.